Hello and welcome to the Foxcatcher AFL show. My name's Julian Vallance, joined by Bernie Vince. Bernie, let's get straight into what we saw last round, because we've identified this with Foxcatcher for the last 6 or 7 weeks. We're developing a bit of a trend here.
Yes. When
we've got the red footy, those 110, 120 games, and it's blue skies, we're hitting the overs.
Yeah, it certainly is. And because of the wet games and the night games and the unders, quite often are hitting, so you can get ahead of the market a little bit if you look ahead at the weather. I know you're the weatherman, been doing your work again, so you've identified, is it 6 in a row?
Yeah, since round 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and obviously 19 last week, all big numbers. Now, you've got to be disciplined in this space, Bernie, so we're getting plenty of games in this space, but you've got to be aware that just make sure that it is blue sky, the red footy is out, but they are hitting the overs. Now, this week in particular, got to be disciplined, because there's 2 games that are going to hit in this time slot with the red footy, but guess what? The clouds are bringing rain, so we're going to stay away from this space. And let's look at the games maybe coming forward, but coming up in the next few rounds. And we have to wait a little bit, maybe to around round 22, when we're seeing a few games that we might want to get into this space again.
Yeah, Richmond St Kilda, they don't hit me as huge overs teams though. So again, you look at the weather, but you've got to look at the teams as well, because Richmond aren't shooting the lights out when it comes to scoring. The Giants like to score. North Melbourne can be pretty open on defence as well, but then that one's in Canberra, so you've got to have a look at that too. So as you said, it's a week by week and a late bet, I reckon, if you're going to have a look at that.
That's a really good shout. And just the modelling at this time of the year brings those totals down, because we've got that wet weather and the winter situation. Let's look at a team that just want to keep an eye on here, Bernie, for the next sort of 4 or 5 weeks. It's the Cats. Oh. You look at this and you go, well, to be honest, they should win all of these, shouldn't they?
Yep, I think they do.
Yep.
I think they've got a huge month ahead, haven't they? So that's real momentum heading into finals. And I tell you, Jeremy Cameron, he could really clean up. Been a lot of talk about him in recent times.
What do you think about this market? Exclusive to PointsBet, can he kick 100 goals? Now, important to note, that's including finals. They finished top 4, they're at least a short of 2. You'd think probably they get to prelim week, that's 3. Plus the 5 weeks they've got now and some of those teams that they're playing. Do you give them any hope to get to 100?
I don't think. I think you're dreaming. 51, it represents the price, doesn't it, what the market's saying. So I don't think so. I think he could potentially get to 90, and exclusively here at PointsBet, we'll offer $7.50 for that. So he only needs another 32, and you've seen some of the teams he's playing against. If he could kick 7 or 8 a couple of times there, and that really just tightens that up. So, and this is the week to get on. North Melbourne this week, get on.
All right, very good. Let's get to the premiership market, because we've just seen a little bit of condensing of this market now since we've seen the Magpies lose their last 2 games. Is there anything there that you want to see? Because I want to touch on this really quickly. Brisbane and Adelaide, their prices are very important in terms of they need to finish 1-2. OK, so that's why their prices are like that. That'll change considerably. I think Geelong, it doesn't matter where they finish, the market's going to probably be steady around that. The Pies the same, because we know they're MCG. But those 2 interstate teams, I think that's really important in terms of price sensitivity.
Certainly is. I think Adelaide could potentially finish even minor premiers. I think they finished top 2. They're 2 tough games. They play Hawthorn and Collingwood, both at home, and they're a different team there, being very good at home this year. So I think they could potentially win all 5. You know, you have a look at some of their other games, and, you know, showdown could go either way. That's this week, but I think they get that done as well.
Built different player of the week for round 19 was Isaac Heaney. He lit it up, and this is what he can do. Once he gets the ball in his hand, he is as damaging player in the comp. He
fills up all categories, doesn't he? Over 10 clearances. I think he had 13 clearances, 5 goals and the 34 touches. So on fire at the moment. That's why Sydney are going so well.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get to some action here. It's Thursday night. It's Hawthorn versus Carlton. It's at the MCG. Now, look at the prices there. You can see Hawthorn clear-cut favourites. I want to give maybe just one factor why here, Bernie, and we can just quickly analyse this. Have a look at Carlton's record against the top 9 this year. 1 win, 7 losses. But look at the differential, minus 208 points. They cannot go a yard against the teams that are going to be playing off in September, can they?
Yeah, they can't, and that's why the market says what it does. I think Hawthorn will get this done. Hawthorn, to me, they're sitting 5th on the ladder as well at the moment. It's so tight up there, but I think they get it done. But again, they're not a team I think will be there come the last week of September.
Yeah, they need to win this one and probably win it considerably, because percentage might come into this big time too, Bernie. So if you're having a bet, please make sure it's a sharp one. Bernie's back. He's going to be having a few this week. We'll see you soon.
Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.